Maine is celebrating its 201st birthday this year, and in Boothbay Harbor today they celebrated something almost the same age.
Now, it is not in Boothbay, but rather about a couple of miles offshore. It's the old lighthouse on Burnt Island, a place that still guides boats at sea and now has become a beacon for some on land as well. Here's News Center Maine's John Carrigan.
200 years ago this summer, when Maine had only been a state for a year, the federal government decided they needed a lighthouse to guide ships in and out of Boothbay Harbor. So they built this one. They could have chosen other islands, but Burnt Island is a key spot for entering the harbor. And while this wasn't the first lighthouse on the Maine coast, it is now the oldest original tower of all.
Tower has never been rebuilt. It's never changed its height or width. It is the same thing as it was in 1821.
Elaine Jones has been the unofficial keeper of the Burnt Island Light since the state took it over more than 2 decades ago. Generations of Coast Guard light keepers came before her, tending the light and the fog bell through all those years and storms. Henry Sigg was the last of them, leaving when the lighthouse was automated in 1988.
It had moments of not sheer panic, but when the generator would fail, which it had done, and the light would go out, it was, oh my God, the light's on, man, it's time to panic.
And with him was his son, who was born while they lived on this island. He says the history needs to be preserved.
Because people need to understand what went on here. And especially young kids, they have no idea. They're so glued to their phones that there was a time before that.
All said the lighthouse life meant a lot of work. Steve McCullough comes back often to remember that. He was a kid here in the late 1950s, but says there were good times too.
This is a Coast Guard station, but my dad got away with quite a lot. We had a sheep, pony, dogs, cats, rabbits, chickens, turkey.
The lighthouse and the keeper's house remember all of that. They have been carefully restored under the guidance of Elaine Jones to what life was like in the 1950s. She says it's all an honored part of Maine's past.
Burnt Island, as being a lighthouse, is a historic site. Went on the National Register in 1977. So therefore, right there and then, we know it's something we need to protect for the future.
Burnt Island is now cared for by the state and a huge group of volunteers. Hundreds come here every week during the summer. The island is now a place of beauty as well as history, and a light that still matters. In Boothbay Harbor, John Carrigan, News Center, Maine.
Elaine Jones is retiring as keeper of Burnt Island. The lighthouse is open all season, but you have to provide your own boat or kayak ride to get there. Still looks like a trip worth taking.
Oh, absolutely beautiful.